about this? Should be good. All right, we are going to get started with the four of us tonight. Um, it's. I'm glad that we're finally getting to do this. I don't know if we'll stick with Mondays or go back to Wednesdays. We can figure that out as we go. Not a particularly, um, excuse me, not a particularly big issue either way. Um, the days are pretty equivalent for me. I'd like for us to settle on a day, but I realize that this week is a little bit of a one-off anyway because was it Sam that's going to the cool. No, that sounds like it's going to be awesome, man. Um, yeah. I listened to a few of theirs, but some of my close friends are really, really into it. Um, so let me. We are live with Krevborna. Got a little bit of echo. Let me see if if it happens again. I will. It seems like it might be Sean. You'll do a thing. Okay. Well, guys, well, so far so good. Yeah, I don't hear it. Well, I heard it a little bit. Um, I shouldn't be. I should have. No, I have chat, a video and audio chat turned off on Roll20. So that should not be a. I have chat. There we go. Okay. All right. It's Crime Nat. What's up, buddy? So Nat is a buddy of mine from a game that we both play in on Saturdays for Dragon Heist over on Variant Rolls. Yes. Shawnee Funny Man, I know. So all good. Well, I know, yeah, both of you. So it's good. So a couple of quick things. We are playing Dungeon World, which is a kind of apocalypse engine powered by the apocalypse D&D type game, much more focused on storytelling and the narrative than on detailed mechanics. There are mechanics, but they're pretty light, and they mostly serve to introduce a little bit of variability into a little bit of randomness into the system. Uh, so yeah, this is not fifth edition. Most of the dice that will be rolled almost exclusively by the players. There's a few things where I do some dice, but it's pretty few and far between. And for the most part, it's in response. The basic mechanic is basically the player rolls 2d6, adds an appropriate modifier, and if they roll 10 or higher, they succeed. If they roll 7 to 9, they succeed with the complication. If they roll 6 or less, they get to mark XP, and I get to do a thing. And that's basically how it goes. And everything always starts, so it's not, I want to do this move. It's, I slash at the bad guy with my sword, trying to come in low at his legs, and then you roll hack and slash, and then we narrate what happens based on that. The world that we will be playing, and I'll introduce in a moment. This is sort of a Gothic world, but what I want to note is that we did a session 0 for character creation already, and the way that Dungeon World works is the first session, session 0, session 1, whatever you want to call it. The first session is really supposed to be character creation and then some joint world building. And we didn't get to that joint world building last time, so we're going to do that. Unlike kind of traditional D&D, the players have a much bigger role in kind of creating the world and deciding, what's in it and what's happening. And so there'll be a lot of times that I ask questions that you would never see the DM asking in regular Dungeons and Dragons. But I'll be asking questions here and using those answers to kind of help set that. That said, we are using an existing campaign setting, but it's our version of it, right? So we're playing in Krevborna, which is an indie setting written by Jack Shear. And and while it's an inspiration for us, and it kind of gives us the feel and flavor, we'll be making tweaks to it as we go because it's our story. And Jack explicitly, in there, I talk to him on Twitter occasionally or on other social media. The idea of his book is he says in it that anybody could skim the book and then run a game that feels kind of like Krevborna, and this is kind of like that. It's going to have some of the same feel, but if you've played in that world or you've read the book, you're like, wait, that's not how it goes. That's just because that's how we're doing it ourselves. So with that said, let's go around and introduce players and characters, and I'm going to start with the order that Roll20 is showing me. So Felicity, why don't you tell us about yourself and your player a little bit? Excellent. Anything else about her that you want to tell folks, or just let people see as she goes? That's fair. That's totally fair. Tell us quickly about how she looks. At least if somebody saw her, what they would notice about her. People can't hear Felicity. That sounds not right. Let me fix it. You know what? I know what the problem is. Maybe. No, I don't know what the problem is, actually. I hear you just fine, and I should have the sound turned all the way up on the audio capture. Wait, how about this? How about this? How about now? I bet you hear it now.
Test.
Test. Do you hear? Hopefully, I see. I think I see what the issue was. Let me turn down this other sound a little bit more on the music. So yeah, say some stuff, and we'll see if it's going.
Alrighty. Want me to just start over from the top and
Yeah, just
then
kind of
get
describe
into...
Felicity to us a little bit.
Alright, Felicity is a young human. She has long red hair. Okay, I hear the echo now.
Yeah, no, I fixed. I know what the problem is on mine as far as that goes. Yep. Yep. Growing pains. Go for it now. That was on
Alright,
mine.
she stands at about 5'4". She's fairly fit. She carries a lute on her back, has a rapier at her side. She's wearing some nice leather armor. Nothing too fancy. She has a standard adventuring pack. And she kind of has a fiery look in her eyes.
Okay. Excellent. So that's Felicity. Clayton, tell us a little bit about how you look and anything else that you want us to know about yourself.
So, first, I hope everybody hears me. You call me Sam, and I will be playing Clayton. And Clayton looks like typical kind of Victorian era clothes, but he has this scale mail shirt and a dress pants that are a bit tattered, and a cloak that goes to the waist that's also tattered, and a top hat kind of beaten a bit and dusty, He is a little on the older side. Has long black shoulder length hair with streaks of white running through it. A bit of a beard. It's kind of like salt and pepper. He's like, you would guess he's like a bit early 40s in his age. Um, he's kind of a bit tall, about 6'2", and lanky, a bit lanky. He walks with a black uh, cane with a gold round handle on it, and it seems he lives for the hunt, and that's his goal: to hunt monsters until they're extinct.
To hunt the monsters and hopefully not be one himself.
And
Okay.
hopefully not be one.
So, Joe, tell us about yourself a little bit.
I am Sean. I'll be playing Joe Marshall. He is he's part of the guard, but he's a thief infiltrating the underbelly of the crime that's happening into the cities and trying to scope out and find the big problem and trying to exterminate it. He's not very good at sometimes keeping his undercover, so he runs himself into trouble a lot of times. He's very charming, so that's how he slipped in with ranking up so high with being undercover. He looks like a thief, so just to keep his mystique going.
Sounds good. Yes, the good thief, as it were,
Yeah.
doing the infiltration. So that's cool. So let me tell you a little bit about Krevborna and about the specific area within it which we find ourselves. So Krevborna is sort of a Gothic type world. Um, while a lot of the lore within it and the monsters are somewhat are largely, I should say, based on Eastern European lore, the people within it are a mix of ethnicities and looks and so forth. It's a very kind of integrated type society in that sense. The thing is that in Krevborna, while there are large mountains and beautiful forests and villages and a few cities. And I should note that Krevborna is itself, and the whole world in which it's found, are all humans. This is not a kind of Tolkien-esque world. It is believed that the gods abandoned the land long ago, and so the predominant religion there is the Church of Saintly Blood, and there are, of course, other sorts of beliefs here and there, what the church would call pagans. And now the land is infested with monsters of all sorts, whether that's fiends, whether that's werewolves, undead, of course, the monsters within the human heart itself. And so the whole focus of the campaign is to kind of push back against the darkness and the corruption that envelops the land. To fight against the monsters and to kind of light a candle in the night. Perhaps they won't be able to free the entire land, but will become, I should say, heroes in some sense. Though there will certainly be moral choices and hard decisions to make as we go. Now, Piskaro itself is a port city, as you can see, kind of in the background there. It's one of the largest cities, actually, kind of within Krevborna. It is a port city on the eastern shore of Krevborna. In fact, let me show kind of a general. Nope, that's not the one. Let me show kind of a map of the realm. See how that shows up here. That show up right? No, not like that. Just like this. So we are down here kind of in the southeast corner of Krevborna, on the Sea of Cerna, which is itself kind of an offshoot of a larger ocean. And so obviously there are ships and crews from all over the world. And as part of that, then, we have the smell of the docks, kind of that briny, almost rotten scent, really all through the city. We have what else? The city itself is kind of built on canals with stone bridges everywhere, and these buildings themselves are densely packed and somewhat teetering. Of course, there are wharves where the ships are being loaded and unloaded. You also would notice in the city shrines everywhere with candles that are lit to those who have been lost at sea. Of course, taverns, as one might expect, really in any sort of fun role-playing game. And in reality, in these cities, of all sorts of sailors, both the legitimate and less legitimate types, pirates, cutthroats, etc. And certainly in those areas, not only do you get the smell of brine, but the smell of stale beer. Interestingly, throughout the city, you'll see markings made with chalk, looking like, well, you're not really sure what they look like. Some sort of occult or arcane markings to ward off the violence of crime and murder that pervade the city. And occasionally you'll hear the sound of a bell tolling from one of the churches there, or perhaps there's a clock tower in the city, and so perhaps from time to time you hear those as well. So with that, as I mentioned, in Dungeon World, especially in the first session, I ask a lot of questions that then you, the players, will answer, and we'll use those as we go forth building the world. But we'll start off with actual play. I don't just mean it's a world-building session. Tell me about this. I mean that we'll be figuring it out as we go. So, if you're all ready, you find yourselves running along the side of a canal, kind of on the street that runs alongside it, having just come off a bridge, and you are chasing something. So tell me, have you seen what it is you're chasing, or are you still trying to get a glimpse of it? What do you think? In other words, you're kind of making this up with me as we go.
So, are we talking about all three of us? Are we?
Yeah, you tell me. Yes, you are. The three of you are together.
Okay. Let's say I see a kind of a smallish monster that's kind of scurrying by, and we're chasing after it.
All right. So chasing some sort of a monster. Anybody have any thoughts about what kind of monster? What you're seeing?
I'd say maybe like kind of a were-rat.
Okay, so some sort of a kind of a hybrid. All right, that makes sense. Why is Felicity interested in chasing this were-rat?
Well, I was walking around town. I saw Clayton kind of following, having heard tales of him in the past. I wanted to follow and see him in action for myself.
All right. And, Joe, have you met this were-rat before?
I don't think so.
Okay. So
I think it's more there's loot that he's looking for.
Oh, interesting. So you think that maybe you're trying to steal from them, or you're trying to recover stolen goods?
Maybe steal from them?
Okay.
From us?
Sorry, steal from them.
No, from the were-rat.
Ah. Well, either way, we wouldn't know.
All right. And well, that's a good question. Is Clayton chasing? Has Clayton met this were-rat before?
Um, I wouldn't know. They all look the same to me.
All right. It's very early in the morning, pre-dawn hours, in fact. Felicity, why are you up so late tonight?
Well, I just recently performed at one of the taverns and was just wanting to get a walk for some fresh air afterwards. And then I saw Clayton running after something and thought it might make for a good song.
For a good, all right, because as I recall, you and Clayton know each other. Yeah, how is it that? Tell us again how you know each other.
I grew up hearing tales of Clayton.
Oh, so Clayton is a renowned monster hunter.
Well, I've been around for a very long time.
And Joe, do you also know Clayton or Felicity?
I know both of them. Felicity and I had a run-in back in the past. We traveled together for a little bit, and then I branched off afterwards. And me and Clayton have been together for a little while. I think I owe him some deeds.
You owe me my life, your life,
Yes.
whether
Okay.
you admit it or not.
Whether you admit, I love that. I love it. How is it? So, what? How is it that you owe? Well, first of all, would you admit that you owe him your life, or that you prefer
Yes.
to? Okay. So, what happened that you owe him your life?
He saved me from a horrible monster, and I dedicated myself to him.
Well, you just happen to be at the right place at the right time. But I figured, why not save the poor fella?
All right. And so now you're accompanying each other on your hunt for these were rats. What do you think this were rat has done?
I was gonna redcon something. He might have stole something from me when I was on a heist for uh my lord or my lord.
Okay. So you're getting something. You're recovering something back from
Mhm.
from
That I
this
was.
one.
That's why I've been up. I had a mission on, and he stole it from me.
Okay. What did he steal?
Money.
Money. So you got to get your money back. Oh, so right now you're down some coin. So for those who don't know, in Dungeon World, the coin of the realm is always referred to as coin. It
Okay.
might be different types of coins, right? Uh,
Mhm.
but there's kind of one currency type, as it were. Rather, we don't say gold pieces. Basically, this is basically the equivalent of gold pieces in regular Dungeons and Dragons. So you're down a few coin right now, hey?
Mhm.
Okay. Um. Well, as you're chasing it, how are you trying to catch up to it? He's pretty quick on his feet.
As I'm running, I start tossing pieces of wood ahead of him, try to trap him in an alley, trying to direct his path.
Okay, so you're kind of just grabbing debris or just kind of random scraps of wood and throwing it so that he can't, so that he's only got so many options available to him. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so the idea is if there, I kind of have an idea of this alley a little bit that we're in,
Okay.
and we'll say I hunted another monster there before. There are a lot of contracts, I would say, in the cities that I often take here and there. And so I've been around this alley, so I know it kind of, one part gets to a dead end. And so if I see like a barrel or like a piece of log or something like that, I try to like throw it just ahead of it so it can direct its movement left or right.
All right. So he finds himself cornered, and he turns on you, fangs bared, a knife in his hand. What do you do?
Uh,
Now you caught him. He's stuck in. You're in a side alley, somewhat off of the canals. There's a were-at turned, watching you.
Sorry, I lost power.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
Can y'all hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
I don't know what happened. So my computer is restarting right now.
Oh,
Oh
fun
no.
times.
Windows right now.
Yeah, Windows Update. It'll be an hour. No, it's fine. We can, as long as you're on Discord, we'll be all right. So I was saying that you've got this were-rat cornered. You're in an alley. He's at the end of the alley. It looks like he doesn't. There's these buildings on either side and a wooden fence behind him. And he turns at you, fangs bared, a dagger in his hand. What do you do?
Tries to hide.
Tries to
Haven't-
hide. Okay. So do you
Alice. Just in case he runs away to get a surprise attack.
Okay. Why don't you, that sounds like you've got a thief move for that, don't you?
I don't think so. Unless it's. Would it be defy danger?
You can do a defy if you want to do a defy danger. You're sounds like you're either trying to think quickly or move quickly, so you could roll 2d6 plus either your intelligence or your dexterity, depending on how you're doing it.
I was thinking Dex. So should I just
Okay.
hit?
Yeah. So
Question. Just hit Dex, or
no, hit the. You should have a defy danger move on.
defy danger.
Yeah.
All right, I'll hit defy danger, and then just hit Dex. Okay.
Oh, look at that! So you are successfully, you were so quick as he whipped around. You quickly moved behind some of the debris, and for the record, all the art that I'm using tonight is from the Magic the Gathering Innistrad set, because it fits so well. So you duck behind some crates. So he kind of looks around, sniffs around. What? What do you want?
Oh, this one has some semblance of intelligence.
It's quite ugly.
All right. Well, I whip out my my cane and I press the quick clutch and release the whip to knock the dagger out of his hand.
Okay, so why don't you give me a hack and slash? If that's what it sounds like you're doing. So roll 2d6 plus your strength, unless you have a different move you are a fighter, as I recall.
Yeah. So okay, I'm finally back on roll 20.
All right.
Just give me a minute. All right.
Oh, I should do. How about this? Does this work?
What I meant to roll. I am so sorry.
No worries.
All right. Looks like I'm back in here
So you should hit
on
hack
my
and-
computer. I just logged in through my computer finally. All right. I'll do hack and slash. Yes.
Okay.
That's an 8.
So that's an 8. So as you slash at him with your kind of sword cane thing,
So I'm at a distance. So I'm kind of like I'm not within close or melee range of it.
right.
For me, it's within range.
Right, because you have a very special weapon, so you have kind of multiple ranges on this weapon. So this were-rat here, this is not a, by the way, so this is not a 2-scale sort of thing. This is just to kind of keep track of who's there and what's going on, and I'll put it actually kind of further down. Hopefully that still shows up okay. Let's see. How about like that? Yeah, this is very abstract. not a grid sort of fight. Okay, so you attack him with that kind of long. It's like a describe
Whip.
what your weapon. So describe how your weapon works.
So when I click the latch, the cane threads out into blades and become a whip with that retracts quickly to the hilt the basically the knob,
Okay.
the handle, and so it's kind of like those weapons in what's that fighter or what's that game, Soul Calibur, the really scantily clad one of the characters that they
I didn't play
make
Skull
as,
Calibers, but you mentioned it as
yeah,
something like
basically
Bloodborne as well, right?
well, yeah, it's a threaded cane basically from Bloodborne.
Okay, all right. So so a whip. So really, what you're saying is that a whip comes out to hit the dagger out of his hand, right?
Yeah, so I basically slash at his hand trying to get
Okay.
him to drop
And
the dagger.
you do pop him with the dagger. So you rolled your class. So one of the things about Dungeon World is weapons don't determine how much damage you do. Your class does. So a fighter always does a D10, right?
Correct.
Yes. So and you have a +1 because you are a special fighter. Is that right?
Yeah, I have my weapon has
As a because when you,
as
one of the things
because
about
it's
fire- go ahead.
because serrated edges of the thread along the whip's edge, it adds +1 to its damage. Basically,
So
it's more deadly
right.
than just.
So as the whip comes out, right, with the kind of serrated end, it does slash him across the arm, but as it's taking a moment to get there, he sees it happening, realizes he's not there, and he throws his dagger at you. So you do your 11 damage to him, but he does. Let's see if this is.
I rolled really high for damage.
You did. You rolled your max damage. That's the most you can do, which is fantastic. He is. It clearly it takes a shot across him. So he's going to do 5 damage. It has 1 piercing. So your armor is considered 1 lower for the purpose of this particular attack.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have it using a werewolf, but same idea. So for those, again, explaining Dungeon World for those who are new to it or who are watching, in Dungeon World, armor doesn't change the how likely an attack is to hit you. It reduces the amount of damage you take. Weapons can be piercing, which means that whatever their piercing amount is, like in this case, it's 1 piercing. It reduces the effective armor by 1 for the purpose of that attack. It's not a permanent, ongoing 1 reduction. It just pierces through 1, as it were, quantity or whatever of armor. So what's your normal armor, Clayton?
2.
2. Okay, so in this case, your armor would be as 1, and so you'll take the 4 armor. You'll take 4 damage instead of 3 damage.
Yeah.
Felicity, what are you doing as you're seeing this?
All right, as I'm seeing this, I'm actually going to take out my loot, and I'm going to use my arcane art to try and give Clayton a... Let's see, which effect do I want to try and do? I'm going to try and give him add a d4 to his damage.
Okay. Joe, what about you? Well, is there a roll that you do for that, or you just...
Yes, I do. I roll arcane art.
All right, so go ahead and do that. Rolled a 9. Okay, so as you're doing this, your loot, it works, right? So Clayton, you have +1 d4 forward to damage the next time you hit something, but the kind of arcane nature of this song sort of reverberates through the streets, and a couple of grates in the street shake loose, and a couple of more rats pop out. Hugo! They've caught you! What do you do?
Well, as soon as I see one of them comes out, the dagger that's embedded in my shoulder, I pick it up and I throw it at one of them,
Okay.
and then I slash again with the whip, trying to get the whip to snap right at the first where at I hit at
Okay,
the
well,
neck.
first, so you're going to pull out that dagger and throw it. So give me a volley roll. Okay, so you either have to, this is your choice. You have to either move, trying to get an angle on it. You can either you kind of just because you're throwing it quickly, do a little bit less damage. The last one doesn't apply because this is a thrown weapon, so you get one of those two opportunities.
Right, I'll just throw it haphazardly at it, so I'll take 1d6 damage.
Okay,
Less.
so roll your damage first. Okay, and then roll a d6. If you're not sure, the easiest thing to do is on the left-hand side, there's a what looks like a d20, and you can mouse over it and then hit the d6.
Oh, gotcha.
Like that. Yeah. Okay, so...
But I will add the damage that I got from Felicity.
Yes, so good call. Roll your d4, same way.
So
Okay,
I'll
so 6, so
do
it does
one
one
damage.
damage total to it. Okay, all right. So as you're getting ready to whip at that other were-rat, just real quick, what is Joe doing?
He's going to try to get behind one of them and backstab them.
Okay, so maybe the third one that is around the side.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me that backstab. Well, it's backstab, so you can either deal the damage because it doesn't know you're there, because that's not really hack and slash, right?
No.
Or because you're a thief.
I have a thing that says backstab.
Oh. Well, that was so mark XP.
There's a fail.
That was a fail. So as you're running up behind him, your foot hits on a cobblestone that goes clattering off.
Fall right.
Yeah. He turns around and instead stabs at you and does 4 damage, one of which is piercing. So your armor is reduced by 1 for this purpose.
Okay.
And that points up what Dungeon World is great at is you get experience for about half of your experience overall comes from failing. So even when you miss, right, it's beneficial to your character because now your character perhaps has learned, hey, watch out for those loose cobblestones.
Would I take all 4 of that damage since my armor class is just 1?
Yes, you'll take all 4 damage then.
Okay.
Now, Clayton, you had your whip flying towards the last one, so roll your hack and slash again. Yes, so while you are doing that, you roll your class damage to hit the thing. It doesn't matter, actually. It's going to, that's going to be it for that poor were-rat. Hugo is dead. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'd say my whip would wrap around its neck and then just sever its head.
yeah, and it goes flying off into the pre-dawn darkness. But as you're doing that, because you were kind of doing several things at once, the one that you had thrown your dagger at before rushes up behind you and instead bites you for 5 and 1 piercing.
Ooh. Okay.
What do you do?
Me? Oh,
Any of the three of you.
Well,
You tell me.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll use my unless somebody I mean, the Dungeon World is about just hopping in whenever you feel
Right.
like
This
saying.
is there's no initiative. It's just a conversation. Exactly right.
Haven't seen. Who was it that got bit? Was it Clayton or Joe?
Yes. It was Clayton that got bit.
On his face.
All right, I'm going to do another arcane art. This time to heal him for a D8.
All right. So roll your move.
All right, so he's going to heal for a D8. Let's see. He'll heal for 2.
All right. So what does it sound? How do you when you do your performance? Do you just strum on the lute? Do you sing? What is it you do?
I am strumming the lute. Each of the different effects has a different tune, and I'm also singing along with it.
Okay. You don't know that you have to perform unless you. I mean, if you want to, it's fine. But what sort of song is it? Like a sea shanty? Is it some sort of ancient melody? What sorts of songs do you sing?
It is a ancient melody, one that I've heard growing up from various minstrels traveling through town. Probably performed at some of the parties that my parents threw.
Okay.
Joe's gonna get up and try to defy danger again and try to go hide.
So he's trying to run. You're trying to kind of run away from the.
From the attacker. Yeah, from the.
Yeah, that sounds very dangerous because he's right up there with you. So yeah, roll your defy danger plus dex to see if you can get away.
Would that be Dex?
Yes. Yes, you move quickly, and even though he slashes at you, you are too fast, and you kind of run around a corner, and you hear him yell, "Leonid, there's another one around the corner!" What do you all do?
All right, well, I'm gonna use my cane. I whip it back into its original shape, and I'll try to stick the tip of the cane into the mouth of the were-rat that bit me and try to pry it off. Is it still latched onto me, or is it just a bite?
It just bit you. It's not latched on. No.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll pull back the whip and I'll try to bonk it with the handle right on its jaw.
Okay, you're just trying to bring it around and just give it a baseball bat.
Yeah.
All right, give me that hack and slash. Oh yeah. So you
Boom.
if you wish, you can do an additional 1d6 and expose yourself to his attack, or you can just roll your damage and add a d4.
Using my old man strength, I put all my weight into the swing, try to really knock its jaw out with trying to do the extra 1d6.
Okay.
Like really swing with full body, even almost making myself get out of balance a little bit.
Okay. So first roll your class damage, then a d6 and a d4. Oh my gosh.
Wait, d4?
You have
I thought
the
it's the
arcane art.
four from the attack, right?
You're getting the
The
d6 from the attack and the d4 forward to damage from the arcane art.
Is it ongoing or is it just one?
I think it's just one.
Yeah, it's just one.
All right.
Once
I thought it was ongoing, but all right. So add your
It should say
class
if it's
damage and-
ongoing. It should say it.
Yeah, it just says +1 forward. Okay, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, roll your d10 and your roll your class damage and your d6.
So that's a 7 damage and then a d6.
Okay, so as you hit this thing, you do, let's see, so 10 damage to it. As you hit him, Leonid, you've already heard his name be called out. His claws sink back into you, although his jaw is significantly dislocated and blood spurts from his mouth. So he's going to do 9 damage with 1 piercing on you. But you see his jaw, just blood streaming from his mouth, and kind of shaky on his feet. What do you all do?
Is he still holding on to me?
No, he's scratched at, like he clawed you, but he's not stuck into you.
Gotcha.
Joe comes like from around the corner and tries to throw one of his throwing daggers at the one that is that attacked or that he failed to backstab.
Okay, so yeah, he's just gonna throw me a volley. So, which do you choose? You can either move, placing you in danger, or you can do less damage, or you can reduce your... This is thrown, so it doesn't... You don't have ammo, so this is not an ammo. So you can either do the less damage or put yourself in danger. Which do you choose?
I'll do less damage.
Okay. All right, so you roll class damage and then roll a d6.
So... 1, yay.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Woo!
Your dagger doesn't heal him, don't worry. But no, it's just the pommel end glances harmlessly off of his shoulder. And he looks at you and kind of like shrugs like, "What? Huh?"
Seeing the dagger kind of bounce off the rare rat, Felicity is going to take out her rapier and is going to attempt to run forward and stab it.
Okay, the same one that Joe is engaged with, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so go for that. Give me your hack and slash. Okay, you do that. So roll your damage. So again, you'll do typically less damage than a fighter on average. Okay, so you do, 3 damage to the were-rat, who then slashes at you. No, actually, I take that back. Just as the rapier kind of goes to it, he leans forward and bites onto your arm, doing 10 damage. And again, your arm is reduced by 1 for this.
Oh my god.
Ouch. That hurts.
Seeing that, I immediately forgo. Was it Leo? Is the one I was fighting?
Yeah, he's in really bad shape. Like he's got blood dripping from his mouth, and he's staggering. You feel like it wouldn't take much more for him just to be down.
Well, I'm gonna grab Leo and then fling him over my shoulder towards the other were-rat.
Okay. So let's see. You're trying to grab him. He's trying to get away.
It'd be a defying danger, I would say.
I think so too. You're trying to kind of power through it. So give me a defy danger with strength. I think that makes sense. Do y'all think so too?
Yeah.
Again, in Dungeon, the GM is not the all-knowing authority figure, as in Dungeons and Dragons. So, we kind of all talk about it. Yep. So yeah, give me a defy danger with strength. See what happens. Oh, well.
I gain XP.
You mark experience, right? And then I get to use a DM move. Now, sometimes the move itself kind of says what happens when you fail. In this case, I'm going to say that as you dodge out of the way, you hear more voices in the grates coming from the sewers beneath you.
Kind of grip my teeth and I'm like, "You'll just have to do." And then I start try to whack him again finally with the blade.
Okay, so give
me the cane.
Okay, so give me your hack and slash.
Jeez.
Another.
I'm leveling up tonight.
Yeah. So in this case, I'm going to say that even though you miss, he's going to, instead of slashing at you, he's going to dive back down into that sewer grate, screaming. He's not really that intelligible because you messed up his jaw so badly earlier that he's just kind of screaming in pain as he disappears down into the darkness. What do you all do?
Is
Well, I still have the one that's bit down to me in front of me.
yeah,
Yep.
is the last is Joe able to move in and get a backstab on the one that's already with
I think he knows
engaged?
that you're there, so I don't think you'd get a. Unless, let's see, what does it say for backstab? Remind me. It's been I play a thief in my other Dungeon World game.
Surprise attack or defensive enemy with your melee attack.
Yeah, he's not surprised and certainly not defenseless. So you can just roll hack and slash, however, if you choose, if that's what you want to do. All right.
I missed. Whoosh.
Oh, so again, Mark XP. He knows you're there, so he's going to just slash back at you with his and do 6 damage with 1 piercing.
Awesome. Great.
And he bares his fangs at you. Do you all care to join us then?
Well, you broke up a little bit. What did he say?
Said do you all care to join us then? As he's baring his were-rat teeth at you.
I really don't like that. And
What?
I really don't like him having bit me.
Okay, so what do you do?
I'm going to try and stab him again.
All right. Yeah. So you do stab him. Okay. So you do 2 damage to him, and now, well, as it says, and the enemy makes an attack against you for 3 with 1, including 1 piercing. And so as you stab at him, and again, you kind of poke him in the shoulder. He bites on your hand a little bit. He's not really piercing through the glove too much. Like your leather glove is there, but he's got very sharp teeth. And you can see his blood red eyes almost glowing at you. What do you do?
Well, seeing that, I'm gonna try and jump between him and Felicity. She's taken a few hits just from.
Sounds like you're trying to stand in defense of her.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a defend move. So roll defend, which is plus con. Okay, so you get 1 hold, and hold is hold for. And I know Sam already knows. Let me kind of explain for everybody. Hold is one of the few things in Dungeon World that's a little bit, and I want to emphasize little bit, kind of crunchy, kind of mechanical. Hold is like a special currency that you get that you can only spend on that same move, where it makes sense in the fiction, as they would say. So he basically, it's like he's got 1 token, as it were, that he can spend 1 for 1 to either to do one of these 3 things: either have the attack's effect or damage, open up the attacker to an ally to give an ally a bonus to it, or deal damage to the attacker equal to your level. So that's your choice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get
when that is when he attacks. So that's the next time he makes an attack, you'll get to do that.
Gotcha.
Okay. So what do the rest of what do Joe or Felicity do right now?
All right, having seen Clayton step between me and the rare rat, I'm going to back up just a bit, and I'm trying to think, can I use the arcane art to heal myself or no?
Let's see. Take a quick look. Choose an ally.
Roll that. I'm sorry.
That's fine. There's no worries. it says an ally. So you're really so it's not so much healing yourself as it is healing your friends.
All right, that's fine.
Joe's like bleeding from his abdomen.
Yeah, I will say that you are all clearly this fight has worn you down quite a bit.
All right, I'm going to use a arcane art to heal Joe then.
All right, roll that. Oh, so tell us a little bit. Is there a particular legend that you're singing of, or is there a particular thing about this song that you're singing? Tell us something about this song.
All right. This song is about a legendary bard that traveled with another famous monster hunter who traveled the land fighting off monsters and whatnot, and this bard happened to work his way to take all the credit, as some bards do. But the bard then wrote a book about his monster hunter as an apology. So it's kind of his rise and fall, if not.
Okay, so now roll the d8 for the damage heal, the healing. Okay, so Joe, you're going to take a +3 to your HP. So as Felicity's magical words envelop you, you feel that wound in your abdomen somehow kind of close up just a little bit, and some of the bleeding stops. What do you all do?
He's going to try to attack with his rapier again.
Okay. Oh, well, roll your damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so clearly now this were-rat is in very bad shape and hisses at you, slashing out with its dagger.
Whoa.
You're at what?
0.
You're at 0.
I died.
Well. You
roll a new character.
Not yet. There is a move for this, actually, because there is a special thing that can happen.
The death thing.
That last breath. When you're dying, you catch a glimpse of what lies beyond the black gates of Death's kingdom. Then roll, plus nothing, because Death doesn't care. And then we will determine. So as you take your last breath, you feel, or you, in your mind, the strong scent of blood, kind of that iron smell, washes over you. And you see yourself adrift for a moment on an endless sea of blood. Roll a 2d6.
I was gonna say, can't defend me, dude.
Oh, so you roll it. Oh, you are not dead. Well, not necessarily.
I had to make a deal with.
So Death offers you a bargain, and you see emerging from this sea of blood a beautiful angel, pale, but with her wings themselves composed of blood, dripping at you. And she says, "It is not yet time for you to sail upon this sea. However, I will give you this choice. You may return to the land of the living, but you will forever be marked by the rat that sent you here, if you accept."
Okay. He says, "Sure thing." I just want to get back to the living world.
Okay, so we'll deal with the consequences of that later. And you are not dead. You are stabilized. You're in a bad spot, but you're still alive. And the rest of you see Joe kind of sprawled out on the ground, eyes blinking, gasping for a moment. What do you do?
All right. As soon as I see, basically Joe's eyes roll back, I start charging at the were at and try to knock it out with the cane.
All right, give me your hack and sounds like hack and slash. He's in a fighting. He knows you're coming. Oh,
Yep.
Okay, so Mark.
Level 2. Here I come.
So for those who don't know, the way that it works in Dungeon World is you level up when your XP is your level plus 7, and there's some stuff that we'll do at the end of the session in a little while. Plan to go about 2 hours total, about another hour. We'll do an end of session thing. There's a move for that, and you get the opportunity to get some additional XP, which is why I said about half of it comes from these misses. So yeah, all you have to do is get the 8 XP, and you're going to get second level, kind of when you have some time to catch your breath, as it were. In this case, to say that he, as you swing, your weapon goes flying out of your hand, clattering down the alley and kind of into this adjoining street. What do you do?
Oh crap!
I'm seeing.
Is Felicity behind me?
Yes, seeing Clayton's weapon get thrown from his hands, I'll offer my rapier and I'll run to get his cane.
Okay. So you hand off your rapier while you run off into the street?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's not a move. You can do that. So Clayton, she's proffering the handle of her rapier to you. I'm assuming not blade first.
Of course not blade first.
And
There
as
you go.
Joe is lying there kind of gasping for breath, kind of there in the street, what do the three of you do?
Well, I try again, slash with the rapier this time.
Okay.
And
So
I
you
complain midway. I'm like, not balanced.
Yeah, so you won't get the +1, but you can still make your hack and slash and do your class damages without that extra +1.
So it'll just be whatever damage I roll -1 if I do make
Yep.
it.
Right?
There we go.
Yeah, so roll your class damage.
So it'll be 5 damage.
That's enough to, as you do, it slashes at you one last time with that dagger, doing 7 damage to you, 1 piercing. There are 2 dead were-rats in the street, one of which apparently was decapitated earlier. Joe is in a very bad spot. Felicity is running off and fetching that weapon.
I pick up Joe on my shoulder and I say, there are more coming and we ain't going to be able to handle them. Let's get out of here.
Right.
All right. So you're scattering off. Where are you scattering off to?
Getting off into the main, maybe the inn that Felicity was playing in.
Yeah, it's just over here. It's not that far.
Yeah, you are certainly nearby. So you are headed back to one. It's called the Ample Stern. Is the name of this tavern. As you enter it, because it is now it's just before dawn. Off to the east, you can just start to see kind of that pink glow from the sun as it's kind of rising over the horizon. It's just starting. So it's a quiet time in the tavern. You're in the common room, of course, as you enter. So there are several snoring drunk sailors. You can hear the clattering of dishes in the back.
Felicity, where's your room? We need to take him over.
It's just up the stairs. It's the first room to the left.
So I guess I'll rush up.
As you're doing, the bartender, who's a formidable looking woman with very close cropped hair, but she herself looks like she has probably hefted some maybe she some crates and so forth on the docks in her day. Kind of peers around at you and, is everything okay, love? And her voice kind of trails off as you are disappearing off to the room.
I ignore her rushing up, Joe, before the infection of the uh, beast plague sets in.
Mm. So you run into the room, and Felicity, describe what's in your room.
Right, it's a pretty standard in room. It has a nice bed in there. It's a single since I haven't been traveling with anyone for a while. There's a nice dresser in the corner filled with some of the clothes that I've been traveling with. I have my instrument case up there. Since I was performing, I didn't put it away before I saw Clayton run off.
See.
I do have some of my stage makeup on one of the dressers that I use to get ready for my performance.
I see. And so then, I guess, Clayton, you're putting Joe on the bed. Joe, you
Yeah.
are awake and conscious, although obviously, in pain. What do you tell your friends? Or what do you say to your friends?
Help.
I got you, buddy. You just keep your mouth shut. And then
He says he will do.
I put him on the bed. And what are his wounds look like?
So he's got some bite marks and slashes on him, and including that one stab wound to the abdomen. But you'll notice that his eyes are far redder than normal.
I'm like, we might have to chop off that arm. Nah, I'm just kidding. And I pull out a
He does.
healing potion that I have on me.
Yeah, a bit.
And I'm like, here, drink this. Might help.
He guzzles it right down.
Okay, so that's a healing potion. Does it say what the healing potion does?
Yeah, so in the book, the healing potion does either heals for 10 or removes an ailment that you have.
So he doesn't have like an ailment, like a sickness or some kind of debility. Debilities in Dungeon World are basically ongoing reductions to your stat modifiers. So you can heal your. Is it 10 or a D10?
It's a 10 damage period.
Okay, all right. So,
Or remove a ability.
right. So Joe doesn't have any debilities, so you can heal 10.
Mm-hmm.
And get you back up to your fighting. So you feel
That would go. Would I be from 0 to 10?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yep. No worries. So you feel kind of the strength flowing back into your limbs, and your vision kind of clearing a little bit. Joe, what do you do?
I sit up on the bed, and I say thank you. He says thanks.
I said, this is the second time.
I still owe you my life. And I laugh. He chuckles.
Wow. I look towards Felicity. I'm like, how about you, little lady? How you doing?
I'm a little beat up, but nothing a good night's sleep won't fix.
So you have been up all night. You could settle in to rest if you wanted, or you could do something else. It sounds like kind of what you're suggesting there. Is that what you're planning to do?
What was that? You broke up just a little bit.
So,
Yeah,
were you planning to settle in to rest? Is that what you're saying, Felicity, or you have something else that you think that you might do?
Well, I was just suggesting that it really, if we need to go out to do something, I don't mind because I don't have any healing potions.
I suggest we take a bit of rest. I'm pretty beat up myself too. I had never encountered so many at once like that. So
Okay, since
I-
you are, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, after like being able to move, Joe realizes that he forgot to grab or to tell people to grab money from them, and
That's,
he missed.
that's
And
true.
he
too
says, "I
late.
need to get money."
Well,
So
you want to
Show
go out
you
there
and your
like
money.
you can also you get a few hours of
Per coin.
rest, so you can heal half of your max HP in damage as
that?
several hours
Bandage
pass.
yourself up and stuff like that.
I'm sorry.
You said bandage yourself up
You
and
kind of
stuff
bandage
like that.
yourself up, catch some rest, kind of recover your strength a little bit.
So you said we recover half our HP.
Half of your max HP. So if your max HP is 20, you recover 10.
Thank
Like
God I'm up full.
Half of 19 is
It's 10. Well, I don't know if
not
it's roll up or roll down, but I'll say roll up. Round up, rather.
already. Already.
Thanks for the healing potion.
Well, that was a mess.
So, Joe,
I
you
ain't
said,
never want to do that again.
Yeah, put Joe at 8, the full.
I'll stick to the
18.
shadows next time.
So it is now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I might prefer you to fight up there and close.
It's better for me to sneak up on enemies.
Well, you let me know if you need that, because we might have to plan ahead for that. I don't tend to be the sneaky type myself, but
You just be the distraction, and I'll come behind them.
all right, I'll hold you to it.
You got it. And then he
well,
puts a thumbs up and smiles.
I nod my head towards him. All right, well, you said you lost some money.
Yeah.
Joe, how much money have you lost now?
Oh, just 10 coin.
Oh, it's quite a bit.
That is quite a bit.
Well, let's go get it then. Well, I
Well,
also
it wasn't
need to.
mine in the first place. I was
Well,
kind of getting it for a friend.
Well, I gotta pick up that head for that bounty on it, too.
As you. So, Felicity, do you have anything that you're doing before I.
Sorry, you broke up a little bit.
No, I kind of just trailed off. So, Felicity, what are you doing in response to all this?
Well, would you two mind if I tag along?
Well, I say you held yourself up pretty well there. I found myself hitting a little harder just you being around.
The more the merrier.
I'd say just be careful now. I
Perhaps
worry
I
about you. Got a pretty voice, but I worry about you.
I can take care of myself, but perhaps if you two are being engaged, I could stick to the back a little bit and keep my distance just enough to where I can do my arcane stuff to help you guys hit harder to heal you guys.
Well, that'd be mighty nice. That would be mighty nice. Let's go get some money.
As you open the door to leave, you see a small piece of folded paper on the floor right in under the actual door itself. That's been slipped under there while it wasn't there when you came in. Clearly, somebody slipped it there while you were asleep.
I'll pick it up.
And when you unfold it, you see a stylized logo of a mousetrap on it. And with it, you find a little pouch of 20 coin.
Well,
Hmm.
I'll
Is
show
that-
it to Clayton.
Let me look at. Is that the bounty?
You're not. Sounds like you're trying to figure out if you know what that might be. Sounds like maybe a spout lore.
What? Sure. But, I'd say like, because I would imagine the bounties are kind of hung and tell you where to take the gold to, right?
Let's see what you know. You're trying to figure that out. So give me a spout lore. So roll plus int.
All right, sure. Yay! 4 experience points. I have no idea.
That's interesting. So you're sitting there, you're thinking, and everyone's looking at you, and a guy walks by in the corridor, sees you holding this piece of paper and kind of staring off into space, and he grins and kind of points at you and snickers, like, doesn't even know. And
I put my hand
Joe
on his
just
shoulder.
grabs the coin.
Huh?
It said Joe just goes up and grabs the coin and holds on to it.
I grabbed that guy that was snickering.
hey, what's
Excuse
the idea?
Why were you laughing?
sir?
He doesn't even know about the League of the Rat Catchers.
League of the Catchers. What is it?
Of the Rat Catchers. Do you see?
What?
Points to the logo. So the thing is, there's not a particular
There's
bounty
not a particular-
office for these, but clearly somebody has given you some sort of bounty or something for this. The League of the Rat Catchers, I don't recommend getting into trouble with them myself.
Well, they seem to be paying a mighty penny for some dead rats.
Huh. Well, that's assuming they ain't rats themselves. And he kind of shakes loose from you as if he's trying to, like, leave.
Well, I leave him like, I do want to know if you can tell me where they might be or if I find them.
I wouldn't know about those things.
Do you happen to know who might?
I don't really like to truck much with that, but talk out front. Maybe somebody there might know something. And he stomps off, kind of grumbling under his breath about rude people.
Right, so nice yourself, asshole. And then I walk back.
Since
Walk down.
I've been here to this town before in the past, could I do a port in the storm to see if I might know where we could find this League of Rat Catchers?
Sure, port in a storm. What is that a move?
It is one of my moves.
All right. I see. So let's see. Yeah. So when were you when were you last here before this kind of let's say performance tour?
It was probably a year or so ago when I last worked with Joe.
Okay. Since then, you've noticed a few things. You've noticed more. You've seen this logo before, and in fact, there's a little kind of saying that you've seen occasionally with it, where it's been kind of engraved into a sign or kind of sung, and it says, "Strange is the blood of beasts, and so strange we shall become. If blood makes the beast, we must be as beasts. And so you've seen this in a few places, and you've heard the name Duro Lovak, which I will put in roll 20.
Duro Lovak.
You've heard that name as a soldier who might be associated, a former soldier who might be associated with this league. You don't know much about him, but you know that much.
Would Joe know about him?
Maybe roll a spell lore.
Joe doesn't know that Felicity knows.
No, about that dude.
Oh.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah, so you are completely unaware. You can roll. Sorry, you can mark XP.
Hell yeah.
Felicity, you're going to be level 1 while we're level 2.
I know. I have not messed up anything.
I've been trying.
Actually, Joe, what you think you know about them, you think that they are themselves were-rats.
Okay.
Well,
That's what Joe believes.
any of y'all share any of this? Because I ain't got a clue.
Well, I was here in the past. There is a name that I've heard before that they might be associated with this League of Rat Catchers. Duro Lovak.
I ain't never heard of him. Well, do you happen to know where we can find Mr. or Mrs. Lovak?
I believe he's a soldier here in the city. And I know that logo's... I've seen it before in various places, and then I'll tell him that little lore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, be as beasts.
Do we know that Joe is a part of the guard or just a thief?
I don't know, Joe. What have you told them?
You still think I'm a thief?
Okay. Well, I say let's go check him out. What do y'all say?
Sure thing.
All right.
Sounds like a good plan.
All right. Well, let's heading out. So I guess as we're going through the city trying to get there, I kind of want to know if there's a shop. I like to keep my potions replenished.
So there are various sorts of alchemists and herbalists not in necessarily the sense that we might think of it in our world, right? But people who, kind of know which plants, and maybe being here obviously in the port, what kind of extracts from different things that wash up on the shore can be used for that. So you might be able to go find at least some kind of what we would think of as healing potions. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and if there's a price, I don't know if I can pay because I apparently don't have money.
There any way I can bargain a price?
So let's see. Let me find healing potions. I'm trying to find what the are supposed to be costing. They are not regular necessarily.
Oh, I do have poultices and herbs on me too.
You have poultice and herbs. Do you know how to use them? Do you know how to use those poultices and herbs?
I don't know how I would know to be able to do that necessarily. When you carefully treat someone's wounds with poultices and herbs, heal them of 7 damage and expend a use. Oh, okay. So that's how it works. I'd imagine I do because being able to hunt monsters for the many years that I have. I've gotten a lot of cuts, bruises, and wounds on me that but this one takes a while for me to heal.
That makes sense. Yeah.
To use.
So if you can probably spend some time and kind of gather those things up if you want, or if you want to go find somebody who sells a healing potion, then we can go. Certainly, you can find a shop that does that.
Well, I do want at least one healing potion, if I can.
Okay.
Is there a shop that we can go to?
Yes. So there's a shop near the docks called the Blister Parsley.
Hmm.
Make a note.
Okay.
Here. That's the name of the shop.
Is it on the way towards where we think Mr. or Mrs. Lovac is?
I don't know if you know where you're gonna have to probably do some investigation to find.
Okay, so I have to ask
them.
around. Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you want to go to that Blister Parsley, then you can certainly do that.
Yeah, I want to go there. I'm gonna tell you all that. I'm like,
I'll
hey,
head
you
there with
don't
you.
mind if we stop by the Blister, whatchamacallit place?
Okay.
Problem.
So this shop, when you go in, it has a very pungent aroma that kind of assaults your senses as you walk in from all these different herbs from all over the world. You see some of them are dried, some of them are in bowls, some of them are kind of hanging in clumps from the ceiling, and you see an old woman, kind of a shriveled old woman behind it. One of her eyes is yellowed and foggy, not yellowish as in glowing yellowish, but as in clearly it doesn't seem like her right eye works very well anymore, and so she's looking at you. What brings you to the parsley today?
Joe goes up and tries to whisper, like, potions, and then he tries to use his guard rank to get a discount.
Okay, so it's not like you're trying to that in Dungeon World, that's called parley. So when you have leverage is something they need or want. So maybe you're kind of suggesting perhaps that either this would be a favor to the guard or the guard is requesting it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So roll a parley, which is plus charisma.
So that would be just this.
She says, well, I can provide this for you, but first, you need to deal with some of the young toughs in here. And she points across the street where there.
So is this being whispered between them? Do we hear? We don't hear them.
I whispered it because I don't want them to find out that.
Right. I want to make sure of that.
Okay. Yeah. She's talking in a low tone, but you can certainly see her grinning and pointing across the street. And you can all see across the street where she's pointing, there's a group of teenagers that are clearly kind of street urchins, kind of dicing and smoking over there. They've been causing nothing but trouble to this old lady, and I need you to show me that you're going to take care of them. Run them off, and I can find a way to help you out here, eh?
Yeah, Joe sticks up his thumb and walks out and confronts them.
Okay, so walk up. There's four of
Try
these
to pass out to act like he's big and brawly, even though he's not.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
So Felicity and Clayton, what you see Joe kind of straighten up and walk out of the shop. What do you do as you see him do that?
Hey, Joe, where do you think you're going? We're supposed
Joe, where are you going?
I gotta go clean up this mess.
Would you like some help?
Sure thing.
First of all, what mess are you talking about?
And I just point. I point to where she was pointing. I gotta kick them off the street.
Okay.
Well, what for is that? We got money, don't we?
Yeah, but we can save it if we just do this.
Well, I'm a monster hunter, but I ain't above putting some welts on some heads. Let's see.
So
If they're giving them trouble, we might help the town a little bit, I guess.
So
Alright.
Joe, tell me about how you try to intimidate them. Or what you do. It sounded like you were going to intimidate them, but if I'm wrong, tell me.
No. Joe kind of tries to walk over there with his chest puffed out, as I said, even though he doesn't look intimidating. And he just says, "Hey guys, can you do me a big favor and just leave?"
Why, why should we? What's wrong with you, scrawny old man?
Because my friend right here, and he points to Clayton, beat your ass.
I'd really recommend you guys take off running. Don't you know who this is? This is Clayton, one of the most famous monster hunters in all the land.
Now, no need for flattery, but it is true.
Is it now? Roll. Let's see. I guess you have some leverage. We're going to call it a parley to see how convincing you are. So, is that going to be Felicity or Joe who's trying to convince them? I guess that's going to be Felicity because Felicity.
Either or, but we could also say that we're aiding whoever's doing it.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
so there's an aid and another. So you roll plus bond, and you can choose either. Well, there's aid and there's hinder, which are basically the same move, just +1 or -2. So Joe, are you? So Felicity, are you kind of helping Joe? It sounded like.
Yes.
Okay. So you guys have a bond, so you can add +1 to your parley roll, Joe.
Oh, I rolled a 2 on that first one. So, no, they
Okay.
don't get the +1.
Yes. On
But I
2,
get experience.
you do get XP.
Woo!
So there is that. However, as you're saying this, one of the young toughs looks at you, looks you up and down, and says, "Oh, I think I saw you the night before over at the Ample Stern. Not much of an Ample Stern, eh?" Kind of looking around your back, and kind of spits in your face.
Is he talking about to Sean?
To Felicity.
Sorry. To Felicity.
Yes. Joe, you're trying to parley with them. So, Joe, you could roll your parley without the +1.
So I'll just parley.
Yep. They spit, but they kind of grumble, looking at Clayton, this who's old man strong, and kind of shuffle off a little bit, and they do in fact disperse.
What a bunch of lovely chaps, I say as I'm wiping the spit off my face.
Never come back.
Never come back. All right, well, job done. Let's get them healing potions and probably at a cheaper price, according to what she said, right?
Yeah.
All right. So as you head back in, she's clapping with glee. "Oh, that'll teach them! Hey, hey, hey! That's what happens when they mess with old Rosemary."
Oh, well, glad we could be of service. Now, how about them healing potions?
Potions? I think you mean potion. That's not, yes. I will provide you with this potion at half price. You've done me a favor, and so I too shall do you a favor. 25 coins, eh?
Whoa. Oh, there.
Whoa. That is quite a bit.
Well,
There's a lot more than I thought it would be, ma'am.
I usually charge 50. These ingredients hard to come by. Take time to prepare.
I thought you were going to give us a discount if we took.
That is. She points through the label that says 50 on it and says 25, 50. That's a deal, eh? I still have costs to cover.
Just a quick question. Do none of us have any coin except for the 20 that we got?
I mean, I had 10 on me beforehand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have any.
I told you I took the 20 from
Yeah.
you guys. So
Yeah,
I have 30 right now.
Yeah, I have no coin. So I kind of, you took the coin from me, so I'm going to turn to you, Joe. I was like, hey, Joe, mind paying this nice lady for the potion that saved your ass again?
Joe contemplates for like 3 seconds and goes, what the heck? Then goes and puts 25 coin on the table.
And she
Much
hands
appreciated.
over this potion, and you can see it's kind of a green. It's sort of a murky greenish brown with little bits of something floating in it, something nasty looking. But it's a glass vial that's got a cork in the top.
Much appreciated, ma'am. We do have another question. Trying to find out about somebody with the name of Duro Lovac. I believe that's the name, right, ma'am? Right, Felicity?
Sturo Luvac is the name.
Duro Lovac. Duro and
Supposedly he's part of the guard or a soldier of some sort.
well, I wouldn't know too many of the god. If I knew more of the god, I wouldn't have to have random ne'er-do-wells here running off the random ne'er-do-wells in the street.
But I imagine you might have some dealings with them, given that you're run a healing store of some sort.
Herbs of all sorts and occasionally a potion or two. Well, here's what I can tell you. Old Rosemary doesn't know too many different people outside of, the Card Players Club. But what I can tell you is you're probably best talking to, she kind of nods. She kind of, looks around, make sure that nobody's in there. It's clear nobody's in there. Like, it's clear it's just the four of you. She's just making a point to kind of, like, look around and lower her voice and just be all, what's the word I'm looking for? She's just trying to look like she's being extra paranoid. You might want to go ask Morrigan Rue, but be careful. She and her sister own the clock tower, and if there's anything happening in the city, they know about it.
Alright, well, I appreciate you guys. Got any more questions or shall we head over?
Let's go.
I say we head over.
Alright. Well, thank you, ma'am. You have a nice day.
You as well. Come again.
Will not, and Joe slams the door shut.
What just slam it shut? What the fuck? Like, thank you, douche.
right. So
Right.
Joe clearly did not like her very much. Interesting.
I was like, well, I appreciate Joe for buying that potion for me.
Anytime, my man.
So who's carried the potion?
I got it.
I saw. I flip it to Clayton.
Felicity, do you say anything in this whole exchange?
I'm just kind of chuckling at their antics. And just kind of muttering to myself, boys.
So what do you so you have a potential lead. You have less coin in your pocket, but now a healing potion at least. And everyone can see if you choose to go to the clock tower, it's clear. It's one of the taller structures in the city, and you've heard it tolling at certain various times of day and so forth. Is that where you head, or what do you do?
I plan on heading there, and then unless somebody pipes up and says something
I
different.
mean, Joe just says he's down 25 coin.
Yeah, we should probably get
That's all
a
he
head.
cares about right now.
We should probably head over there because I doubt we have enough coin to possibly pick me up a bow and some arrows. That way I could be more range and to help keep you guys up.
Quick question, Kyle.
Yeah.
I did want to say, like, I did have a bounty on the rat I was hunting, right?
Sort of. What you had told me earlier that you were chasing it because y'all thought that you were stealing back something it had stolen from you.
That's Joe.
That was me.
Yeah. But there's not what you've figured out now is that there is some organization that pays a bounty, but it's not a kind of a storefront. Walk in and take a scalp. You've got to. They sent you some coin, and now you've got to figure out if you want to have more contact with them, what to do with it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I personally do want to head over there.
Okay. As you
Joe,
do,
follow Clayton.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said Joe's got to follow Clayton.
Okay, Felicity, you're going with them. This is all.
I am going to follow them as well.
Okay. As you draw nearer, you see sort of a raised platform outside the clock tower, with sort of a fence around, like a see-through fence, right? And you see what appears to be a young woman in fencing gear, with some sort of a fencing foil or saber. Practicing with a trainer of some sort. She is kind of fits the description that you were given for Morrigan Rue. Let me put that name in roll 20 as well. There you go. So Morrigan, or at least the person that is fitting this, she's you can tell she's certainly a very skilled duelist, and is kind of, rather than learning, is kind of maintaining her edge, and she wears her hair also cut somewhat short, right, kind of in a very short ponytail, and as you approach, a couple of tough bodyguards kind of step in front of you. What's your business here?
We got to ask Morgan some questions.
That we do.
What kind of questions?
For her to know and me to find out.
I was going to say, Joe was going to get the city and say, show him what we got. We got to find the guy or tell him what you know.
All right. And I pull out was it the paper, right?
Yep.
Paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
It has we need to find answers for this here rat catchers. Is that what they're called? Rat catchers?
Yes, and these gentlemen, they are, think like NFL offensive linemen. They are just just massive mountains of men. Broad shoulders and they're thick biceps. They look at each other, nod, kind of step out of the way, and they yell, "Miss Rue, more adventurers!" And that is where we're going to leave it for tonight.
Damn.
No.
Oh.
I was gonna say something right away.
So, what we will do, however, is the end of session move.
Mm-hmm.
So, the end of session move is cool in a few ways. First of all, do any of you feel that your bonds are resolved? That means completely explored, no longer relevant. Like something else is a more important bond for you. I don't know that I think it's a little bit early for that. But if you feel that one of your bonds is completely resolved and it's overshadowed by something else, then you can mark XP.
I was
Probably not yet.
like to say this is probably not doesn't qualify.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, that usually takes a few sessions to kind of get to.
Well, Clayton already helped me because things already went wrong and I died.
Well, I saved your again, so still owe me.
Yeah, I think that's still kind of the same type of bond. Now, if
Yeah.
it turned out that you paid him back by saving his life, then, for example, that might be, a new bond or something else. If what happens with Joe's new deal with death, we can see what happens with that. That might be interesting if we get there. Now, look at your alignments. Each of you has an alignment that's a little bit different than each other's. So, for example, Felicity, what is Felicity's alignment?
Her alignment is chaotic.
Okay, so for the chaotic bard, so in Dungeon World, it's not like lawful good or chaotic neutral or whatever. It's just one of good, neutral, chaotic, evil, or lawful. And not every class can take every alignment. Obviously, we made a little tweak to it because it made sense for the character because it's our game and we can do what we want. So that's for Joe. For the chaotic bard, the trigger is if you spurred others to significant and unplanned decisive action. Do you feel like she did that tonight?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe next time, but I don't think yet tonight. I don't think so either. I'm with you. What about Joe? What's your alignment?
Good.
And what's the trigger for your alignment that we decided on?
I mean, they have to be pre-existing. I said helping someone.
Okay.
So.
Right. It's something that's pre-existing. Exactly. So, I think you had something about like helping someone weaker or something like that.
Which I helped the old lady get rid of those people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Rose.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
So you mark an XP for that. What about for Clayton? What's your alignment move thing?
Mine is it's a neutral alignment to defeat a worthy opponent, or I wrote a defeat a notable foe.
Okay.
So
You think you did that tonight?
I think that was, to Clayton, the most challenging fight right now he's ever had, because I went down to 3 health.
And nearly lost your ally. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the alignment portion of end of
So
session.
do you think I get XP for that? Is that?
Yeah, I think so. Now, as a group, these are 3 questions that apply to everybody all together. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
The world? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the first few sessions, that's almost a given, really.
Yes, we did.
Yes. Especially Joe. I mean, what?
Yeah.
Did you overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Yes.
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 So there's another. So there's 2 XP from those. And did you loot a memorable treasure?
Well, we're poor AF. So 20 gold.
We did not get any treasure, unfortunately.
20 coin is notable, I think.
I looted that from you guys.
I don't think that's looting a treasure like from a lair or something.
It wasn't mine. I just took it.
So I think you get the XP for the monster and for learning something about the world. So that's 2 XP there.
All right.
And you, as we pick up next time, you will be about to interact with this Morrigan Rue, who apparently, her bodyguards say, more adventurers. So apparently she's interacted with adventurers before.
Yeah, lots of them apparently too.
As well as you have, you're trying to track down this League of Rat Catchers after having fought some were-rats. So I suppose that's not particularly surprising there.
Morgan might know who Joe is.
Might. That's certainly possible. Might possibly know any of the 3 of you, really, because you all have at least some level of reputation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Darn, 1 point short of leveling up.
I'm 2 points short of leveling up.
If only
I am 5 points short.
So one of the things that I have learned the hard way, because I'm with you, Felicity, is that in order to level, you have to do stuff that is not really what your character is good at.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Joe, like Clayton trying to know about things apparently was not his strong suit. Because I guess maybe you have not a super high intelligence modifier or whatever.
No.
So doing stuff that's not in your wheelhouse is the way my GM tells me about it on the game that I play in. Because I've been leveling slower than everybody else for the same reason. Because I'm like, I'm good at this. This is what I'm going to do. But it's fine. There'll be plenty of opportunities to catch up. Which reminds me, do we want to just start playing on Mondays, or do we want to go back to Wednesdays next week?
I mean, I'm fine with Mondays.
I'm fine with both.
I'm fine with both as well.
Okay.
So what's that? Isn't there a new person that was supposed to be joining us today?
Yeah, but he's never literally he accepted the join link and never.
What?
He accepted the join link but never logged in. So we're gonna keep looking for new folks. So it may well be that when we get back together, there may be some other adventurers that meet up with you. But we'll figure that out between now and then. So before we sign off, anything else? Any questions? Any comments? Anything anybody should know?
Just a comment to new players of Dungeon World: try to focus on doing the thing. Like say, instead of saying I want to try and defy danger, don't say that. Just say I want to jump away from the hail of arrows.
All right.
And if it triggers a move, the GM will tell you to trigger a move.
Yeah.
So it's all about the fiction.
I guess that's what I got.
Yeah,
Try
no,
not to go,
and
that
that's
also
a fair
helps.
point. And although the only thing I'll add to that is that everybody will kind of say, like, if you see me kind of pausing or whatever, you're kind of, feel free to say, because we all kind of talk about it as if we're not sure. We'll talk about it as a group.
Yeah. And like the idea is that, you're trying to keep the fiction, and it also helps with the leveling up, because the idea is you want to act out your character. And if you happen to do something that's reckless, that's kind of your character following its alignment, that gives you XP. Or you try to do something that you're not good at because you're arrogant and you think you're good at everything, that gives you XP, So just try to keep it with the narrative, and if the move triggers, the DM will tell you. That's kind of the main job of the GM. So
Yeah, but feel free to help me keep an eye out for that. As Sam was pointing out, I'm a little bit newer to this system, and one of the reasons that I wanted, to have a mix of experience levels, so that it's not one inexperienced GM and a bunch of experienced players, and it's also not all of us not knowing our way around, and there's at least one person to kind of help us out with things. But at the same time, I think it's been a good balance of this is a good way to kind of review at the end how we're doing with that. By the way, thanks Sean for the host in.
You're welcome. I will
Twitch.
hosting the whole time.
Yeah, I did. So Shawnee Funny Man, appreciate that.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah,
That's me.
yeah.
Well,
I do. Well,
yeah, I
shameless
really
plug.
think everybody
Oh.
did a wonderful job. Aside from that,
I had a great time. Even apart from that, I just in general, the idea was to kind of let you as a group kind of set up the initial story, and that helps me see what sorts of things you want to be doing and involved in, and then for next time it'll be slightly more kind of some initial structure rather than just kind of riffing as we go based on the events that you yourselves have already set in motion.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, gentlemen. Let me, if you guys hang on for a second. I'll say good night to everybody on Twitch, and we'll catch up with y'all later.
good night, Twitch.
Good night, Twitch.
So.